All right, welcome everybody. It is 7:01 on this Monday evening, May 20th. I want to welcome all of you guys. The weather's beautiful outside. At least it is here in Iowa. We're just outside of Des Moines. My name's Grant Dippold. My wife, Amy Dippold. Maybe you all know her a little bit more than me, but we are EC1s out of Des Moines, and we just want to welcome you again here tonight. There are two calls going on, and that call is currently being recorded separate from this one, and it's going to be replayed tomorrow. And so I want you to look for that. I'll show you exactly where it's going to be, but it's going to be in the US LifeVantage Facebook account. And so be on the lookout for that recording as it's posted tomorrow in place of Tuesday Momentum. But hey, let's get started with announcements. We've got some exciting stuff. So Lori Kaup is going to take the second half of this call, and she has a portion of this called hard facts. And hard and facts is an acronym. So there's going to be something that's going to align with the H and the A and the R, and you know how one of those work. But based off of her experience in not only network marketing, but inside of LifeVantage, hold on for her in this second half. I'm very excited to see what she blesses us with, the experience that she's had in that. But before we get started, I'm going to share my screen, and I want to go over just some announcements. It's something that I frequently do on all of our team calls. So I'm going to share my screen. We're at lifevantage.com, our main page. When we're looking for information, we always scroll to the bottom for our different links. So if we scroll down to the bottom, I'm specifically looking for events. So you'll see this event heading down here. And if we click Activate Event July 2024, that's our next one. So I already had the tab open. We're 60 days away from it. And we have a couple featured speakers, Brandon Cunningham, Daniel Song. Excited to see what Daniel Song has to bring to us. He is newer to LifeVantage, but has significant, if you read the bio at the bottom, significant network marketing experience. Beautiful family there in the photo. So make sure that you are getting pre-registered for this. Just click registered today. Get that on your calendar. Set time aside for that. What do we have next here? May promotions. All right. So in May, we are giving away free physique fat burn. And the stipulations or qualifications for that are going to be here below. Enroll $200 plus, and it's going to automatically be added. Or for existing consultants and customers, put that on your subscription. And so if your single subscription runs at 200 plus, then it will automatically add a fat burn. You know what's exciting about that is we've also launched 2 LTO Axios. So how does that work with the physique fat burn opportunity? So what I want you to always be aware of as well for information is if you're logged into your back office and you come to the right side of the page here, you can always click on the Communications Hub. That is under business right here. And so if you load that page, I encourage you to do it because the links in there have changed recently. And let me reload my page. Give me one sec. Communications Hub. So if you do that for yourself and come to latest news, you might see some new information. So there is discount codes. I would suggest reading more about that once we get off. We're in Newsweek. Activation gets noticed in Newsweek. I would suggest clicking on that and looking at that a little bit more closely. But I want to hear about our new LTO options that just launched this morning. So I was in the Communications Hub, and then I clicked on this tile, and you're going to see that we released Cherry Limeade, which is our caffeinated version, and a decaf version of our Peach Nectarine. Okay? Exciting stuff here. How does it tie into the fat burn? Well, on your existing subscription, if you get 4 Axios and add that to an existing subscription profile, I know the 20th has already gone out, but for the 25th, you add that, you're going to get a free physique fat burn automatically added. So you can get some shareables for this if you're on social media, where you can download those very quickly and utilize those graphics and those digital assets that way. So with that, let's see here. What else do I have? So I said that there was going to be a recording that's going to be released tomorrow, Tuesday. That'll be at US LifeVantage Consultants Group. So if you're not a member of that, don't hesitate to reach out and go into Facebook and type in that header or name there. And you can start following that page and we'll see what they come with tomorrow. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, but we have Lori Kaup here this evening. She is part of Amy's and I's team. She's been with us. She'll have to tell you, but for me, I feel like it's been like 3 or 4, maybe even more years that way. But she has an incredible story, perseverance, and I just want to give it up to her to share that experience with us. So, Lori, if you want to take it away, thanks for
Yeah,
sharing.
I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. All right.
Yeah, perfect.
So I'm excited to be here with you guys, and I feel so honored to ask just to share. Grant is correct. It's been 4 years, which it doesn't feel like it's been that long, but yeah, he was right on the money there. So this is hard facts that I personally have had to learn in my journey with network marketing, especially with LifeVantage. And so my prayer for you guys tonight is really that you just would be blessed by this in some way, that it would call something to mind for you, remind you of something, or maybe have a moment of clarity for you. So, where did I start? Yeah, I started LifeVantage in the year I think none of us is ever going to forget, 2020. Recently fired from my job in that year, so it was a difficult spot to be in. And I was kind of scrambling at that time to find again full-time work, and maybe did not see LifeVantage in the light that I should have and could have at that time. My biggest why in joining, I'm getting more clarity on dreams, I think, but ultimately, regardless of whatever else comes, my dream is to be home. That's where I feel called to be. Unfortunately, now both of our kids are left the nest, but I still feel called to be here and be serving in my capacity as a wife and just be relieving some of those duties. That's really where my heart is. And so the last 4 years have been interesting. I did not start LifeVantage, I don't think, in a very good mindset, and I'm going to get to a little bit of that, some of the things I've had to learn. But I've had recently, I've had some light bulb moments, and one of those was that when I started, I had a lot of, I had some family and some friends that were, I think we can all attest that sometimes those are the last people that want to hear what we have to share, right? And so I had a friend at that time, one of my best friends, who said, I love you and I want to support you, but I'm never going to look at this. I'm never going to come to hear about it. I'm never going to come to a meeting. I don't want to see what it is at all. And that was hard for me because she was somebody that I really thought would at least support me, and so at the end of February, our daughter, I have a long backstory on some of our family stuff. We're a blended family. This is a picture of my husband and kids here, but she ended up leaving, and it was just something that laid very heavy on my heart that week, and was just torn up about it. But one of the really cool things that ended up happening at the end of that same week was that friend who had told me that those 4 years ago reached out to me because she has a husband struggling with ulcerative colitis. And so it was like a light bulb for me. It was to me, God's pushing me and saying, you've shouldered a lot, maybe more than you should have the last 4 years, and it's time to go because people are watching. So the first one I have here for you guys is heart. This is the biggest lesson, I think, which is great that it's at the beginning, that I've had to learn, because I was not in the right place in my heart to be doing this business. I was first and foremost, I don't know how many of you on here share my faith, but it's not something I can't not talk about. So I was not consulting God. I was not consulting the head of my business. I was not thinking of him in that capacity that he even cared about it. So for me, that was something I had to get right in my mind, that he's involved in the biggest details. And even though I thought business was maybe a smaller detail, he is the head of the business for me. So I also was not really, I would say, in it for the people that I was trying to serve. I think in my heart, I thought that I was, but I was getting very disappointed. If you see that next one there, at expectations versus outcomes. So I was expecting certain things. I think we all do that in this business. We know how important Nerve 2 is and some of these products that we have, and we think, they should have been on this 2 years ago. They really need this business. They're struggling, but we have to let go of those things sometimes because the outcomes are going to set us up for setbacks in this business. When we learn to let go of those, it changes a lot of things. I also had a really poor money mindset. I know that many of us come in with one of two pain points. Either it's a health pain point or a financial pain point, and it was both of those for me. But I had a lot of, and I still have a lot of broken thinking about money, and thinking that as a believer, as a Christian, I couldn't pursue that, that I was, doing something outside of what I was called to do to want more financially. So those are things that are slowly breaking down that I'm still working on, and just a lot of prayer, that I wasn't doing about my business, and that I wasn't lifting people up that I was trying to reach. So A is authenticity. In the beginning, when I was reaching out to people, I was doing a lot of trying to steer them, I think, towards LifeVantage. And everybody we come across isn't going to be that for us. And so there are so many opportunities to have on authenticity in conversation with people, even if it's not about LifeVantage right away. And really, an authentic conversations is probably not going to be. You're not just going to meet somebody, or unless they're specifically reaching out to you first, and talk about that as the very first thing. You're going to build rapport with them. You're going to build a relationship with them. And I wasn't, maybe taking a genuine interest because of that. I wasn't really listening to people the way that I should have been listening, because in my mind, I was thinking, I have to get this conversation to LifeVantage. I have to get it to what this can do for them. I have to get this conversation to that point. And so, at times I also felt maybe like I have some amazing people in our team, some uplines that are just really have a genuine heart for this, and thinking that I had to fit that style, that I have to fit that mold and bring to the table what they bring. And that's just not true. There are things we can certainly learn from our uplines, and should be, implementing some of the things that they are doing in their business, but we are our own person. There's nobody else that can be you. So I had to learn that, I learned my own style, my own way to talk to people. And a little bit of personality. Some introverts might be on here as well, that struggle with that. And it's not that we don't love people and have a heart for that. It's just learning learning some of those conversation pillars on how to relate to people, right? So R is for relationships. This is a big one for me lately. I maybe in the beginning wasn't focusing on who's in front of me. And that's something I want to encourage you guys to do, focusing on the person that you are trying to speak into, versus maybe thinking of if this goes my way, how's this going to get me that next sale? How's this going to get me that next rank advancement? How's this going to qualify me for that trip? And so I've really just been focusing on that, even if it always is, if it always is not a LifeVantage connection at the moment, because we just don't know when those things are going to transition. And there are a lot of people, whether they're aware of it or not, looking for this for their life. And so I would just encourage you to find a system for what that looks like for you. That's something I'm still working on. And, kind of what I mean by that is how often maybe you're going to be following up with somebody, if it's somebody that you are very close with, if you're going to be touching base a couple times a week, if it's somebody that you want to be following up with once a month, and just sprinkling that truth in where you can. This screenshot here, I wanted to include some examples for you guys, is just somebody that I've just been planting seeds where they're able to be planted. And you can see there that she is somebody that this was such a heartfelt moment because we weren't even talking about life manage, but she just said, I'm so glad that you are someone who reaches out to me because I'm terrible with that. And it's really great to have somebody thinking of me. And so, when the opportunity does come for her to be open to whether it's Life Vantage as a business or whether it's for her health, building that relationship as a foundation is going to be really important. And I've also been able to, she actually had, the same gal had posted a week or so ago that she was looking for a side income, and specifically said, I don't want network marketing, but I was able to say to her on a voice message, I get it, but I don't see any other way to provide that time and financial freedom. So that was just a little nugget I was able to drip in there for her. So D is for discipline, daily method of operation. I'm sure everybody has maybe at least heard that. And there's different ways to do that, that, works for you and how you want to run your business. Below this, I put at minimum. I think we all go through seasons in life where our capacity is maybe not going to be the same as it was. But I think at minimum, we've talked about this when you're not touching this business, I think at least once a day, whether that's I need to follow up with Susan today. I need to make a post today. I need to check if Jennifer got her order today. I think at least doing one thing that's business related to your Life Vantage business every day is super important. And more when you're in seasons that can handle that capacity. The work you do versus the work God does. This is another one I've had to learn. So, I've had to learn that in this business, I can be faithful in doing what He has called me to do, which is to open my mouth and share. But there is work that He has to do, and we never know when that timing is maybe going to change for somebody. But I can be faithful in those things, right? I can be faithful, and you can be faithful to talk about Life Vantage. You can be faithful to share it on your social media. You can be faithful to telling people what it's done for you, and then He can do the rest, right? So, and that's a work in progress. I think, for me, I'm still learning. Just last week on our team call was reminded of one thing in DMO or, just methods of operation. And I was like, I forgot to end that conversation with that gal with the question. I forgot to keep that momentum going, and those are things that with practice are just going to become habits for you guys. So, F is for the follow up. We all talk about follow up. The fortune is in the follow up. But it's something in the beginning, I was so nervous when I joined Life Vantage that I was doing follow up, I think at some capacity fairly consistently, but there were people that were falling through the cracks. And this message over here to the side is one of those people. Even if you feel like it's been too long, just recently I went back through every customer that I had when I first joined that was on product maybe a month or two, or that I had never heard back from, that had kind of fallen off. And it was awkward to have to formulate that message. But you know what? Not everybody answered, and that's okay. But this person did end up answering. And it wasn't something where, she's maybe going to get back into this right now. But what was it? It was a huge learning opportunity about the pain point in her life, which is this economy that we're currently in. And that's just another thing that is an opportunity to talk to her about, hey, have you thought about what something like this could do for your life? And making a list of those people that fit your logistics. And what I kind of mean by that is I think we all have things in business that make sense for us that might not for someone else, whether that's making a hard copy list of people that you need to be following up with on a regular basis. If it's a spreadsheet, if it's on your phone, if it's in the Life Vantage app and you're making a, record of when you last followed up with them, that's something that needs to be implemented so that we don't have those people that are falling through the cracks that we're forgetting about. Oh, it's been 6 months. Oh, it's been a year since I touched base with them. And, commenting and engaging on social media. Those aren't, maybe always a follow-up about LifeVantage, but those are, I quoted it, follow-up touches where you are commenting on something or you are engaging somebody or you're asking them a question about something they posted, that's just going to keep you and keep what you're speaking about, maybe at the forefront of their mind when they're ready. So A is for asking. This, like I said a little bit ago, is one that I forget to do when I'm in conversation with people sometimes. But asking those questions, ending on a question to keep them engaged, to keep that conversation going. You'll be able to tell the people that are willing to do that. The people that are answering those questions for you are the ones that are great to keep engaging and talking with. And being invested in their response. Like I said, in the beginning, I was really trying to steer stuff and not focusing on what they were saying to me. I was really thinking forwardly about how can I get this to LifeVantage? How can I talk about this with them? And then this little screenshot here is an example of, this is somebody that I was scared to ask her this, but it was something, a nugget I had tucked away in my mind from a post maybe 6 months ago, about her son and his struggles with ADHD, really struggling in school with non-structured times. So, times when they weren't in class and transitioned between classes. And I didn't say anything at that. I did say something at that point, but not LifeVantage related. And that was just one of those mental things, that we all come across, that's something I'm going to talk to her about later. That's something I'm going to tuck away at a different time. And so that her response here was just me asking, after she had kind of gone through with me what they're currently doing for their son. I just said, hey, are you happy? Are you happy at the place that you're at with him and doing, kind of this intense pharmaceutical regimen? And are you seeing what you're wanting to be seeing? And this was her response. I would love to learn more. And that's one of my major concerns, is all these pharmaceuticals. And so I'm open to hearing about what you have. C is for commonalities. And this is kind of that big part of the networking part of network marketing, right? Something I'm put on here because I've had to learn, and I'm still learning how to do this. That's connecting with people that are your people. This was a gal here that I don't know from Adam, but you can tell by her response here, and this is just by a quick glance over her Facebook page, that she's a huge animal lover, just like I am. And those are my people. Those those are people I'm going to hit it off with. And so, we did, and we're still talking. And you also have to realize that not all people are your people, and not all people are going to be LifeVantage people. And that's okay. There's people that we come across, and maybe they're in your life. Maybe you're connecting with them for a different reason. And so you have to leave space for that too, realizing that not everything is always going to be about that. You can learn a lot from social media bios about people that you're going to have stuff in common with. Another gal I was talking with, the very first things on her bio, I'm like, this is somebody that believes a lot of the same things I believe, and this is somebody I want to be talking to. And getting in groups, there are so many ways to do this, whether it's social media groups, or if you're like, I'm not a social media person, that's not how I'm building my business. There are community things. Get involved in things, person to person in your community, where you are specifically being with people that you already know you have stuff in common with, and interests that are alike and the same as yours. So T is for timing. We have a quote here from Grant, of all people. Realizing that your network is the one God gave you. This is a hard lesson I've had to learn. And I'll just share real quick that in the beginning, when I started this, I had two huge things that come to mind that were major setbacks for me, because I let it control my thinking, and not realizing that, hey, this network is the one God gave me, not necessarily the one he gave somebody else. And that was just that I had a wonderful gal that went to church with, and was repeatedly trying to share with her. And on my last follow-up, she said, it's not something I'm going to look at. I've actually joined this amazing company called LifeVantage. And I was just What? That's what I've been trying to share with you the entire time. Another person that ended up actually joining our team under somebody else was somebody I had been following up with and trying to, build a relationship. She had posted something about aging, which we all know our activators are all about reversing the effects of aging. And um, it slammed me when that happened. And it was just something I've had to realize over time that those people were not meant to come into this business. They were still meant for it, but not with me. And so I have to find the people that God is giving me specifically. So, and praying for who those people are. We don't know when, where, and how that's always going to happen. Like this quote says, that was so simple from Grant, but there's nothing you can do to change someone's timing. And we often know that when somebody says no, a lot of times that's not yet. And so keeping those communication lines open with them in the in between, checking in with them about what's going on in their life, that's going to keep that going with them so that when the no is now I'm ready, then you've built all that time with them. Um, yeah, and like I said, you don't know when somebody's circumstances are going to change, whether that's health or otherwise. And then S is for showing gratitude. This is a big one as well. Gratitude for every interaction you have, which is something I've had to learn lately since that light bulb moment. Gratitude for just being able to talk to somebody, getting to know somebody, and gratitude as well for your customers or team. That can look different for people depending on how they want to run their business. For me, when a customer joins, that's a handwritten thank you in the mail always with some Axio because I want to be able to show them like, hey, this is a big deal. This is a big deal for somebody to. We often say they're not only investing in product, they're investing in you, and so that means quite a bit to me. And maybe there's different ways you want to do that with your own customers and your own team. But really being able to keep gratitude at the forefront of your mind. I've always loved this quote. I don't know who it's from, but gratitude is the attitude that's going to set the altitude for living. And when you have that mindset, versus being disappointed when expectations aren't met, it can change quite a lot for you. This very last slide, this is a post-it I still have from when I first joined from Jenny Crane. And she was a Pro 8 then. I know that's the old terminology. I'm not sure where she is now, but recommit to the passion, to the opportunity, and treat LifeVantage like there is no way out because we have the opportunity to be a light to humanity. And that was something I wrote down way back then. It's been at my desk at work since. And sometimes it's made me really angry looking at that note. But you know what? I have never thrown it away because man, we have something special here, right? With LifeVantage. And so um I'm so honored just to be on here and be able to share that with you guys. Like I said, I hope that there's something in there that will speak to you. Um, my story is maybe not the typical one, but it's been such a ride, and it's been so cool to watch how God has kind of transformed things. When my mind is focused on Him being the leader of this business. So that's what I have for you.
Awesome. How about you stop sharing your screen so you can see all of us? And we'll be clapping, giving you a thumbs up. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Lori, that's incredible.
Absolutely.
I think what we're going to do is we're going to create a shareable real quick, maybe this evening, so that we can be reminded of what each one of those stands for. And we'll get that put out in One Person Big Difference. So that's something you can save to your camera roll, something you can refer to in the future, because I think you just summed up so well, so many aspects of this business from beginning to end. And my favorite one, I typed it in the chat, is your gratitude. Gratitude is the attitude that sets the altitude for living. I believe that absolutely so much. And I think part of that gratitude, and you spoke on it, was that mindset. You were faced with people who you had been interacting with that were signing up in LifeVantage with other people. And what you could have done is succumb to the negative emotion of that. But because you were thinking about gratitude as you go through this business, you were able to rise above. altitude is up, right? You're able to rise above that, and I think that roadblock could have stopped so many people. Thank you, sincerely.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for joining once again. We have released the LTO options of Axio. They are live on the website. Go reach out to your customers. Ask corporate. You can ask corporate for a report of all the customers who have ever bought Axio from you. Maybe that's a great start. Even past customers, current customers. Hey, can I have a report of everybody who's bought Axio, and start reaching out to them. Hey, we've got 2 new flavors. Do you want to try it? That would be a great place to start. But with that said, have a great evening. Lori, thank you again. And we'll see you guys all next week. Thanks so much.